So after that, we basically got there, and we went into the booth. The booth is where they have to like stamp your tickets. So my ticket said the 4th. So they had to verify, with the Eiffel Tower, if they switched us or whatever. So they called the Tour Eiffel, and they were like, yeah, they got switched, and they stamped us and they let us go through. Now we are heading to the restroom to get dressed. But my thing is, the restroom line was like a mile. I don't know how all those people had to pee at once. I don't know. But all I know is that we were in line just kind of like, dang, it's like, so everybody got to pee in Paris today? Like what's up? But we eventually get into the bathroom and we change into our outfits, our appropriate outfits, and then we put our old outfits in the bags. So we crossed the street, we went to the Eiffel Tower. So before you go in, you got to scan your items. It's kind of like the airport. You can't just go in like, hey, I'm here. No, you got to scan. And so they scanned our items, and they were so sweet. They were like, enjoy your time, have a good time, enjoy your time. And then they scanned us, and they let us go in. And like when me and Dorcas actually got in the Eiffel on the first floor, we were like, yo, we are in the Eiffel Tower. We're like, we are inside the Eiffel Tower. This is a dream come true. Like, as kids, we grow up and we look at the Eiffel Tower and it's like a dream. It's like, oh, Paris. But never in a million years did I ever think that I would ever, from where I come from, a single parent household, never in a million years did I think that I would make it so far to be inside the Eiffel Tower. People take pictures outside the Eiffel Tower. No, we were inside. And that's when we were just like, yo, we made it, bitch. Like, if this is not making it, what is making it? We made it, period. Like, and then our reservations were on the 2nd floor. So we basically went to the elevator. Only discrepancy there was the elevator got stuck, but nobody cared, because at that point I was like, listen, if I died in Paris. So, and that's how everybody thought, because nobody was stressing, nobody was upset, nobody was scared. Everybody was just kind of like, I think in the same line of thought, like, yo, if we die today, we died in Paris. This is a death of bliss, is basically what we were thinking. But the elevators eventually opened up, and while we were stuck, the people were like talking to us, like what is it, on like mics and stuff. Like we could hear them say, everything's okay, we're just, we're doing this, we're doing that. So that was a reassurance too. And then after that, we got on the 2nd floor, and then we were taken to our tables and we were seated. And it was beautiful, like the whole ambiance. Basically, everybody was seated, well dressed, finely dressed. We were seated by our waiter, and the first thing they said, would you like a glass of wine? Would you like champagne? And we were like, yeah, we'll have champagne. And I just remember, like, our menus, and us basically ordering, well, not ordering, but we got what we wanted. And then just like all the champagne and all the wine that they gave us, because Europe is a like a wine, alcohol kind of place. Wine is their drink of preference. That's normal for them. Like having a glass of wine in the morning with breakfast is completely normal in Europe, because that's their thing. So, like tea and wine, that's their thing. So it's nothing like abnormal. So we had I just remember us having like 6 glasses of champagne, and we had all this wine at the table, and we had food, and the food was so filling. And then they brought us salads, they brought us dessert. It's like we had too much to eat. Like we couldn't even finish eating, you know what I'm saying? But we were able to box up what we had. And then I remember we left after we ate, and we went basically outside, and we got to basically look, you know, we were inside the Eiffel Tower, and we got to basically peer over the balcony and see like everybody walking, you know, like where we were at checking in. We could see the booth, we could see everybody walking on the ground. And because you know it's like this, and it's like, you know, the ground, and then a tall kind of pointy building like what you see behind. So I think I'm gonna grab it. Hold on, guys. Okay, so boom, right? So this is the Eiffel Tower. You see down here, this part right here, basically that's the ground. That's where everybody is walking. Everybody's walking. We were approximately up here, second floor. So there's balconies. You basically can look down, and you can see in the middle here all the people walking. The first floor, that's where they have like brochette. They have like just basically pastries and stuff like that. And they have like pastries and bread and light stuff like that. Second floor, that's where we were at dinner. Then you have the third floor, that's the reception area. They have like a reception area. So like if you are having a wedding and you want your reception to be in the Eiffel Tower, basically you pretty much would have it there if you want. And at that tippy top, people think there's nothing there. No, that's where that's where all the champagne, the wine, that's basically a place dedicated to champagne and wine connoisseurs, champagne connoisseurs. That's basically, the alcohol is all the way up here. So we were here, and so we were peering over the balcony, and we were looking at the people walking. And we were just kind of like, yo, like, are we really here? It was like, yo, like, are we really here? I just remember, like, we just remember feeling like we were in a movie. We took pictures, and we took videos. And, you know, of course, we were like, you know, like, oh, we're at the Eiffel Tower. We were just so excited. We were just excited. And after that, we spent a lot of time up there. And then after that, we went down, and, you know, Dorcas, I remember they sell, like, downstairs where the people are walking, there's a lot of people, merchants. They sell things like tourists. That's where they sell things to tourists. And I remember Dorcas, she said, I don't have much, but I want to buy you like this little keychain. I think I have it, but I'm gonna try to see if it was a keychain. It was a keychain. It was a Paris keychain. She bought me a little keychain with the Paris Eiffel Tower on it. And she said, you know, I want to thank you because you made all my dreams come true. And it's like I ate it in the sky, and it's like I got to go in the Eiffel Tower. Like I never would have ever done this ever. And she said, you know, it's not much, but, you know, she got me this little keychain with the Eiffel Tower on it. And I wish bro, it's here, but I have to find it. And I wish I would have prepared it before I made this video, but it was the sweetest thing. I mean, yeah, it was the sweetest thing that she did. And I said thank you so much. I appreciate it. I cherish that. I'm always gonna have it, and I do have it. I just don't know exactly where I put it. I could have sworn I put it, you know, in this thing right here, because all my important things that I love, I keep in one place. But yeah, so after that, we basically were looking around. We were walking around, we were looking at the water, the rivers, the boats that were in the rivers. We were looking at just the views, the views. We were looking at the buildings. We were looking at all these different things, taking pictures, making silly videos. We saw where the people paint, where you sit and you get painted. We saw that. And I would have done that, but I only had cards. So it's like you have to pay cash in order to do that. So I only had cards, and I was like, dang, like if I had some cash, I would have definitely got our portraits done, because basically they have like a booth where you can get your portrait done. And I was like, dang, Dorcas, like, I only got cards. And but it was okay. I mean, the experience itself was wonderful. So after like maybe a couple of hours of just walking around Paris and just like exploring, we called her mom and we were like, we're ready to go. We basically had a good time. We did this, we did that. So they pulled up and came and got us, and we basically started to drive back to Belgium. And I remember I was like in the car and I was looking at all the beautiful apartments that, were in Paris where people live at. And I was just kind of like, bye, Paris. Like, it was so sweet. Like, it was a moment. It was a time, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like a moment of, it was a special moment. It was really a special moment because I know where I come from. And so for me to make it to Paris is a big deal. And materialistic things don't matter to me. But I was so happy that I was able to see different cultures and, basically go somewhere that is so beautiful. And I got to see it, live it, breathe it, smell it, and be inside of it. And I was just happy, and I was happy to be able to share that experience with another person. And she had no idea she was going to be doing that. I just had an extra ticket, a spare ticket, and she got to benefit, and I gave it to her. So I'm a generous person. Like, I could have easily been like, well, I'm gonna just go by myself. I'm not gonna let nobody, get a like free load off of me. But that's not what that is. Like, you are supposed to bless people and you are supposed to share. And so if you got an extra ticket, why wouldn't you let somebody go with you and make a new friend? Because her and I are friends to this day because we're both Jehovah's Witnesses. So, she's young. I was 24, she was 21, and she got to, and I remember she was on Snapchat and she was like, all her friends were snapping her like, I'm so jealous. How did you get to Paris? How are you having dinner in the sky? How are you doing that? Because it's a big deal, like, over there. And so she was like, I met my friend, like, my friend gave me a ticket or whatever. And, she was like, my friends are like, they're so jealous and stuff like that. Like, but, so after that, we were driving out of Paris and we made it back to Belgium at night. And, the next day I had to catch a flight back home. So I pretty much accomplished everything I wanted, although my mother did not get to come. The trip started off in shambles, but God kept it. He put it together. He put me in the right place at the right time with the right people, and my trip went fabulous. So that was my trip to Belgium and Paris. That was my crazy Macaulay Culkin Home Alone trip to Paris. And I remember it was nighttime. They dropped me off, and I basically was walking through. It was through the back parking lot of, like the back area. And I remember walking through the terminal of the airport, because mind you, my hotel is across the street from the airport. So the back of the airport, the terminals, I basically was just walking through there. And then I basically just walked across the street. I came out and I was able to just walk directly to my hotel. And I remember just kind of like chilling a little bit. And then I had packed, and then my flight was for Miami my flight was early. My flight was probably like, my flight was before 12. Definitely. My flight was before 12. And in between all of that though, there was we shared some special moments. Like, we all at the hotel had dinner. Like, me, Dorcas, and her mom, we all had dinner at the hotel where, you know, Dorcas's mom's husband works at. We pretty much, you know, we had a good time. We even stopped by Dorcas's house. Like, before we went on our trips from Belgium to Paris, we stopped by the supermarket, and I forgot to tell y'all, we stopped by Dorcas's house for a little bit. And then we were able to visit her house and stuff. I saw where she stay at. And you know, we also, like I said, we had dinner at the lunch actually at the hotel where her dad works at. And I just met some amazing people, you know, that are in the same faith as me, and they made my trip so bomb. And I can only give glory to Jehovah, because had it not been for the intelligence that he gave me and the swift thinking that he gave me, it would have went to crap. But that was basically like, that was Paris. And I'll never forget it. I will never forget it, because look at all that I told y'all. You can't forget anything like that. But I'll never forget it, because it was one of the best times. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And, you know, I could say that I've lived. I can say that I've worked hard, and I've reaped the blessings of my hard work. The worker deserves his wages. So I worked hard, and I made my money, and I decided to treat myself. And I went, and it was one of the best, most memorable experiences of my life. And I would not trade it for the world. So, guys, what you should take from this is this. When you are going out of town or out of the country especially, you need to make sure you check that you have all the necessary documentation to go. If you are not a U.S. citizen, you need to check with that other country. If you need a visa, don't come to the airport without a visa and think that you can come up with a... Because it wasn't just my mom that was turned away that day. It was a lot of people that were turned away that day because they didn't know that they needed a visa. So make sure when you're going overseas, if you have an even if you have an American passport like me, because an American passport, you pretty much have access to every country. But always do your research, even if you have an American passport, whatever passport you have. If you have a foreign passport or an American one, check with that country and see what are the rules and regulations of flying there, and what do you need to have in order to be there. Because you just might pull up to the airport and think that you good, and they tell you, no ma'am, you can't board. That's what happened to my mom. When I got to Miami, I took a taxi to my my friend's house where my mom was staying. And basically I just sat there and I told them the whole story about what happened, you know, like what we did and how everything turned out okay and well, and the friends that I made, and the person that I met was a Jehovah's Witness, and, you know, basically just everything that happened. And I remember Mia was like, my mom told me that Mia, while I was gone, was asking if I had a boyfriend because I was going to Paris, because Paris is like lover's land. No, honey, I wasn't. I just went because I wanted to go. But I did say I want to get married in Paris, but I think that I changed my mind about that. I mean, I don't know, but it was a bomb trip. Crazy, messy, but it ended well. Do your research. Make sure you have the proper flight documentation, visas, passports, everything. Make sure everything is lined up. That's the priority. Before you even book, you need to go online. You need to go to the embassy. It's good to go to the embassy, go online and go to the embassy itself and ask, I'm going to this country, what do I need? And they'll tell you, you need a visa, you need this, you need that. Because had I did that, my mom would have been over there. But I think everything happens for a reason. And in the end, the trip went great. So comment down below and tell me what you guys think about my banana story. And I have more story times coming, I promise. Love.